He had parked his car right outside the cafe instead of around the back like she had initially requested. He was just lamenting on going home a little bit more until he just about jumped out of his skin upon her appearing at his driver's side door. She was giggling in amusement when she entered the passenger side, and he, despite having a less than pleased reaction to her scare, opted to keep in his utmost best behavior and drive her home. She inquired on why he didn't park in the alley, but he lied about needing to be somewhere important. Without another word, he started his car and began driving down the road. She was giving him directions, at first, when he asked, and he was taking them deeper into the city to her supposed home. But then she began to crack jokes, and it became obvious she was just wasting his time by putting him on a wild goose chase. She then became sad, asking him what was with his attitude and if he even liked her anymore. Had it been any other situation, he probably would have lied to make her feel better. But he was uneasy about the whole night and really wasn't in the mood for any more bullshit. Upon him letting her know his feelings, however, it was like a switch went off in her, and she just went batshit. In quick succession, she leapt from her seat and threw herself on top of him as he was driving. The fuck! He strained his neck to try and see the road over her while keeping a tight grip on the wheel to keep from crashing. His heart dropped when she started saying some fucked up shit to him. He didn't hear a lot of it as he was too focused on simultaneously fighting to push her off and keep the car on the road. But what he did hear was that she was basically into cult shit, claiming him to be her partner in some promised land and would gain Katrina or whatever's divine blessing. After a bit of grappling and wrestling, he finally succeeded in shoving her off and regaining a quick bit of control over his car, which had been swerving and jerking around the road throughout the struggle. She fell back onto her bottom on the passenger seat before she lost her balance and landed to the floor with a harsh thud. But just as he thought he could finally take a moment to breathe and recompose himself, she struck out her foot and made contact instantly with his right hand. He cried out loudly in pain and impulsively drew his hand back towards him. Not realizing, he pressed harder on the gas pedal. But he also didn't realize that she had started reaching out for the wheel, and when she had grabbed it in her hand, it instantly spun towards the direction she had pulled. It all happened like a quick flash before his eyes. His car jerked to the side of the bridge they drove onto. He saw a glimpse of someone right in front of him, but they were gone just as quickly as the bridge railing and dark expanse of water became the only thing he was able to see before his head slammed onto the dashboard. He would have joined the dive into the water had part of the bridge not ricocheted back through his now open windshield and pinned him straight to his seat. It had to go through his chest and heart to do it. His ears rang with nothing but a constant note, and his eyes were blurred and fading in and out of dark black. He was confused, but also slightly aware of the sensation of kisses peppering his cold face frantically. It was warm, and he thought if it was his first love. Was she there? Did she come back? He tried opening his eyes, but only managed to catch a glimpse of blonde hair catching the yellow light before his vision became unsteadily wavy. His eyes shut, and the hand he had reached out to assure his love he was fine was tightly gripped and put into a warm and wet cheek. Though he couldn't see her, he knew she was there and not leaving him alone. He wasn't alone. He didn't know it. His hand was claimed by gravity and pulled it to the seat underneath him, and he didn't lift it again. He heard her suddenly cry out in dismay, and over the ringing in his ear, he hears her profusely apologize through sobs, and hears her repeating not to leave for paradise without her as well. But soon enough, he finds himself surrounded by an incredible cold, her urgent voice and her warmth fading along with the gurgling water, the blaring car alarm, and leaving him all alone. Seeing nothing but black. Wait, no, there was something else, something darker than the blackness surrounding him, coming closer and closer before he suddenly felt warmth. He'd never known the love from his mother, nor even wanted it. But he knew her. He knew his girlfriend was with him after all. He was home and held by her. But what was she singing?